right. I don't, I want to, let's have a conversation between us.
And I should see what it is.
So, we're waking up here. I say that and then here I'm having a conversation with them. Wake up, we're in a new place. We're right next to the beach. We got the jungle behind us. We can hear the ocean in the background. Today's our day off. And I took yesterday off also. And I feel this, this something rumbling inside me, like I want to get back to the battle, and I turned on this morning a replay of Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather, and it was this, do you know who those guys are?
Yes.
Okay. And what's the Showtime. They put together the video after, like it was the epilogue, and it shows the replay of the lead up to and everything's kind of in a heroic context, with that voice, and they've come to Las Vegas, the center of whatever, to settle once and for all. It's that. But, and it just, and I noticed the effect it has on me watching this, the lead up to this, and like, Conor McGregor's got to always imagine, like, all of Ireland has come to Vegas to see him. It feels that way. And then fucking everyone's staying up late in Ireland. They're all fucking inside of their sets, this is for Ireland. Like, if he goes, if he gets defeated easily, it's gonna make all of Ireland look bad. And he's got his family on the front row, and Floyd Mayweather's got his kids on the front row, And like, come on, Dad! And it's just the way they put it together was so epic. But yeah, I'm got tears coming to my eyes now because I'm like, that's what I want, And I think that really every man wants that, wants a battle to fight, an epic battle to fight, not just an adventure, yes, a beauty to rescue, yes, but to know themselves as when the time came. They stepped onto the fucking battlefield, risked it all, and fucking fought their ass off. And it's not even that much about winning or losing. If you fucking know that you showed up and you gave it all. And I came out I was laying in the hammock in the sun and had the headphones on. I was watching the rest of the show. And yeah, I was thinking about, sometimes when we get to talking and we're setting up like what we're about to do this year and our next projects, and our business projects kind of got, a wrench got thrown in the program with the corona, because a lot of what we were going to do was invite men to epic adventure overseas, involve travel, and so it makes it more complicated now, but now as we think of the next things to do, I notice sometimes, like when we're in it, man, I'm so fired up and I see the vision, now let's fucking go, and then sometimes, like maybe I've slept since I was seeing the vision, and I'll wake up the next day and it won't be like really clear, and I can look at it from an external perspective, like a judging perspective, the perspective of people who could say, well, who is this guy? And like, what is this program they're putting on and whatever.
Does it matter?
Yeah, and I'm thinking about not the one that we're doing with men around Lead Your Woman and stand for like no limits, no compromise, full on adventure and honor in the land of women and all this. I'm totally inspired by it. I'm thinking about, like this other project of calling men to the battlefield for this moment in time, in the face of the fear, in the face of everything that guys are feeling about the future, the economy, are they going to be able to provide for their people? And no one knows what's really happening, and no one knows what's really going to happen. And anyway, the program is total invitation into the warrior context. But a couple of times over the last few days, I've only, without really getting into it and remembering, it's all about remembering, but you can just look at it from this external context of imagine how other people might look at it critically. And it takes all the power away from me in those moments. And I'm not feeling it, and I just think about guys most of the time waking up. Every day we wake up, we're in some kind of story. What's the story you're waking up in today? And it can be in the eyes of your romantic partner. It can be in the eyes of people who've, especially like maybe you've had some big failures over the last few years or even a decade or so. Like I imagine, John McMahon, when we decided to go to war, is really how it felt, because for both of us, we're coming back, and in a lot of people's eyes, like we had failed, and we'd left, we were living completely different lives, and then he'd had a really big business failure around the .com era. That's 20 years ago. At the time, it was 16 years ago, maybe, before we started that business. And, you can imagine the judgments that you start having by yourself, and judgments that you imagine everyone else who knows you, how they judge you. And this is the real battle. Wait, do you dare put yourself on the line again? And then what if you fail again? It's a confirmation of all that shit that you're afraid is right about you. What other people, how other people judge you. And, same thing for me. A decade ago, I left my work behind, my life's work. I had a lot of people that really looked up to me, that really supported me. And they saw a vision, a future, and wow, like we're really on this kind of heroic mission for humanity. And then I just would kind of walk away, And over the years, I've had times when I've really had to deal with feeling like a total failure and humiliation, and times when I've had no money, and some total humiliation at times. And then for both of us to say, you know what? Coming back, and not we're just coming back, we're coming back big, and we're going to tell the world this is what we're doing, and we're signing our asses in an agreement with my brother, going deep into debt. We're going to leverage. He's going to use all the money he's got on credit. I'm going to use everything I've got, cash and credit, and we're going all in, and like tears are almost coming to my eyes right now. But that's what I crave, is that kind of like feeling like we're going to war. All right. And I got a brother, and, and I got my other brother, he's got our back too. And it's like, fucking let's go, and, that's what I want to create next, in addition to what you and I are doing, which is similar in a lot of ways. But the battle for me is, it's all about the context. It's all about the story that you wake up in, and and it's so easy to say, well, it doesn't matter what other people think, or just be yourself and don't care what other people think. All that stuff is just stupid. Yeah, okay, and then you're in it, you're swimming in whatever water you're swimming in. And I know John, man, the guy would wake up to just a intense self-judgment, almost every morning, and holding himself to a really high standard and feeling like he's not measuring up. And he's on the line much more than me, because it's his face. He's going out filming himself. He's morbidly obese. He's diabetic, and he's going to put out something helping people turn around their situation, and he hasn't done it. If he doesn't make it, that's like, it's not just financial humiliation and failing at a big business endeavor. It's and people can laugh at him, you know, when he comes on the camera and he's obese and he's, you know, I can't even imagine what he faced in doing that. And there was times, I mean, we came right up to it's go live, right? We're gonna do 9 episodes live. Like everyone's gonna watch. I'm gonna see them for the first time. They don't even exist. John has not finished the 9 episodes, and we've got 100,000 people who've opted in to watch our series. You know, our families, our big affiliates who've promoted us, like people who've invested money, it's the boxing ring and all the fans and the worldwide audience, and like John doesn't have the videos ready, and he and I are up against it, you know.
Maybe you should say shortly what you're building. So
yeah, well, it was a 9-part documentary series on reversing diabetes and obesity. And yeah, so, you know, a big project. But the way we do the project is there's a date when it goes live, and the whole project's going to fail massively if we don't go live. So, you know, everything's on the line, and it's coming down like the final couple weeks before the first episode, and it's like 24 hours later, the next episode, 24 hours, the next episode, and they're like hour-long episodes, and none of it's done. And the first episode's not done. And John's like, he doesn't want any help, you know? He's like, he's got a lot of pride, and he's, I don't want any help. And in a way that was really great, because he totally slaughtered everything that he had to do before that. But then when it came time to that first episode, you know, he's stuck, and he won't let me help him. And I'm on the one hand, I'm like, okay, I'm believing in him. I want to give him a space. I want to trust that he can do it. I'm believing he can do it. On the other hand, I'm like, fuck, I don't know if he can do it. You know, and I should help him. I should get, you know, so, but, I mean, and then it's coming up to like maybe 48 hours, and we still don't have episode 1. It's nowhere near done. And then finally John gets the idea. He's like, you know what? I'm going to put all the gear in my car. I'm going to drive north for like 5 hours. I'm going to go to a place where there's a guy who can help me edit, you know, edit the videos. We came up with a plan, and he took off, and I'm just like praying, you know, just counting the hours down, and he doesn't have it. And, you know, finally episode 1 goes live, and it's fucking good. It's fucking good, you know. I'm like, you know, and it's like a victory, our first victory. But there's 8 more episodes that need to go live, and I know none of them are done. And we've spent like weeks getting episode 1 done. So how the fuck are all the other episodes gonna get done? And I'm doing everything on my side, handling my side of the business, and on their side, they don't want me talking to them, and they got enough stress already. They're like, back off. We know, you know, we know. Believe us, we're feeling it. And the next day comes, and it's you know, and I'm sending out the emails telling everyone about how awesome the next episode is going to be, and we're going live, and like my role is to make everyone believe we're going to do it, and I don't know if we're going to do it, you know, because it's half of it is out of my hands, and all the traffic goes there, and I'm watching the page, and nothing, and we're a minute late, 2 minutes, and it's not going on. What's going on? I'm trying to call John. 5 minutes, 10 minutes. We're 2 hours late before the episode goes live.
The second one.
Yes. And I'm calling these guys, and you know, John has a small team of guys, and one of them's this, you know, high-level Hollywood producer who is a good friend of his, who is a real, like, take no shit kick you in the balls, get it done kind of a guy. And you know, me and him are on the phone, and I'm like, and he's like, don't talk to us. We know. And I was like, I know you know, but we fucking need it, you know. And we're just, it was, oh my God. And I'm trying to think. I think that I can't remember everything that happened, but it wasn't just that John was late on that episode or a future episode. Like the whole fucking platform went down. People couldn't buy. Like there were massive, you know, challenges that happened during it. And, you know, several launches later, and John and I we've parted ways, but because he can't handle it. You know, he's like, I don't want the stress of a launch. I love it. You know, it's like everything's on the line and it's war, you know, and you have to fucking show up and find solutions. But I wanted to go live with this now, and you know, I've been doing all the talking here, but I think that whether most guys know it or not, you know, like a lot of guys are living in a world where it's like, why am I here? What's the purpose?
But what is great about it is like what you say about what I'm discovering with say morning rituals or other rituals that we're doing in terms of like getting the mornings back, working. I'm now thinking nourishment, fitness, all of that. Like I'm 45 years old, I don't trust myself to get it done in the sense of like relying on my discipline or, you know. But what I see is when you could choose a system that does the work for you and then constantly upgrade it, that's the great way to go forward. You do let the system do it for you. Yes. And in a way, it's the same with tension. We know it's good for us, but we will not put ourselves voluntarily in it in a way. Like, because we're like any other thing, like Newton says, an item that's in rest wants to stay in rest. So we or me or I, what is it? I don't know, wants to keep us there. So you got to choose, in a way, you got to choose to put yourself in tension, or that there will be a moment where you can no longer choose anything, that you will just have to go through it.
Yeah.
That's what Deadline does. That's what, you know, your story is very similar to what I heard Larry David talk about, the creation of Seinfeld, you know, and they made this pilot, you know, and they're like labored over it, and they thought nothing was going to come of it, and they liked it, you know, and he talks like this, they fucking liked it. Now we had to make 4 more episodes. 4! You know? He says, I can't do it. Yeah. You know, Larry David, we can't do it. It's impossible. It's fuck, you know. And lo and behold, they made 4 episodes, and then it just exploded. He says, it exploded. We had to make 10 more fucking episodes. Yeah. And he's almost hating it, you know, because he made a choice to like somehow put himself where he cannot escape tension anymore. Yeah. And he has to go through it. Yeah. And I think it's the only way.
Like,
in it.
It's like
it's the war.
They talk about like burning your ships. You know, when you arrive on the new shore on the enemy shore to go to battle, and then they burn their ships. There's no turning back. Yes. We're gonna win or we're gonna die. So like they're all in, and it was that experience with me and John, and that's how I did my boot camps back in the day. Everything would be about the success of the next boot camp, and I would tell everybody, and I would tell everyone how incredible it's going to be, and the most powerful experience of their life, and like all this, like the highest expectations. And if we fail, like maybe the business fails, I fall flat on my face, everyone's completely disappointed, like such a high level of penalty, but yet such a high level of victory, you know. And I noticed that like I excelled in that domain, you know, at least in this work, you know. And so I kept doing it because I loved it. But I think it's also why I love watching the UFC, because man, they close the octagon door and you cannot get out unless you totally going to humiliate yourself forever in front of everyone. You know, and you might die in there, but like, and everyone's watching, and it's like show up or die, and be totally humiliated. And but what was cool about John and I is we're in this business 50-50. we're both up against the wall, and we want to believe that we're powerful entrepreneurs, but that we just had some failures in the past, or whatever, like we're hanging on to this belief that we are powerful entrepreneurs, but we're imagining how everyone else who may not be seeing that, right? And there's people in your life after you fail that they'll kind of laugh at you, or discount you. You can tell they don't believe that you're that level of entrepreneur. And so if you go big again and you fail, it's going to confirm all that shit, and then you're going to be living in this world where you are no good.
Yeah, if you're a man of your word, announcing something can be for me also very motivating. Like I speak now to my close people, my plans, and I'm like, fuck. And I can see them like, yeah, whatever. But now because I said it for nothing else, now I'm on the line,
Yeah.
And
I can see you, and it's partly it really depends on me showing up too, yes. Doing my part. It's not just you. So what happens if Michael doesn't show up? What happens if it doesn't work? What happens if he's not as good at whatever as he says he is?
I noticed I've been using that. Like, I've been using that to get you even more like in... Because I know you're also, fuck. But in a way, like, you don't want to choose that. You don't want to start a war, but you want to be invited to the war in a way. Because war is like bad and you don't like it and people die and whatever, But once it's there, now let's go,
I want to be in the war, but with a brother who's all in,
right?
And my experience with John was amazing. It was the first time I'd ever done a business that was 50-50 like that, and we've risked everything. We've put 6 months of our lives entirely on the line. We've put all of our money, all of our credit into it, all of the credit, the social credit, whatever, getting people to trust us, believe in us, like everything's on the line. And
oh man, I just had a great insight. Continue.
And being there together, and it's an ally situation. It's like there's no backing out. And in this other situation, it's like, and I also know in choosing John that I'm choosing someone who's kind of, he's taken himself out of life, off the battlefield for a long time. And I know that this is my work, is being an ally in this transformational leadership work and stuff like that. I know I have the skills, and I know he doesn't, and I know that, what he's facing so much more than me, and maybe he'll choose to take himself out in one way or another, just completely give up. But I also knew that going in. And I was like, okay, this is going to be a test of my whatever. I'm going to have to show up in life and for someone else the way I pretty much haven't in the last 7 years.
What we want in a way is the liberty of not having to choose to go in a battle. Like we want to be put into it so we can see what we're really made of. Because willingly choosing for it seems impossible. You don't want to start a war. But you want to find yourself in. I'm not speaking about you.
Right.
But you want to
Well, speak about yourself.
Yeah. I don't want, when faced with starting a war or not, I'll never start a war. But I dream of having a war in a way, I dream of having a clear enemy in a way.
Yes.
So I can see what put in that situation, what I'll be made of.
Yes.
Because if I have to choose for it, I'll choose a lot less tension, a lot less war, a lot less, challenge.
Yes.
So.
Well, of course, are we talking about a real war? I'm not going to go starting a real war. But I will throw myself into the deep end,
yes,
and commit myself to something big, because I've...
For example, you got the corona right now. you know, you'd never wish for Corona.
Right.
You'd fuck all these negative things. But we've seen now in the past couple of weeks what opportunities are there, you know, and how you can show up for your people, how you can show up yourself, how you realize time is short, and you realize how precious certain things are, and you would never choose Corona, you know. But now that it's here, you're like, okay, this creates a platform on which, you know, I can show up. I can show up in my best form, you know.
Yeah.
Like just the discussion.
Yeah, but it's also like, I mean, you played semi-pro football, soccer, and it's like saying, all right, we're all in, we're going for the championship. It's the same kind of a thing, right? So it's not a war in a way.
Right.
You would sign up for that, you know. You'd put yourself on that team and be like, you know, with everything on the line, and you'd enter that championship game. You know what I mean? Like, you'd go for that.
Well, there's no losing in that one, in the football. Because I was thinking of giving that example too.
Right.
You know, like, but there's no real. Like, I would say, yeah, I thrive in the games that it was the most on the line. I remember feeling that, like, the pressure, like those moments that there's a huge crowd, you know, and it's championship game, and I realized, you know, I remember giving like decisive penalty kicks, you know, and the moment of realizing that you could live that moment, to me was always, I loved it, you know, and I love that moment and see what was going to happen.
But all your money wasn't on the line.
Exactly.
Like,
it's
like
just extra.
Right,
it's a game. It's a game, you know.
Right.
Corona's not a game.
Yeah. And I think, you know, for men who, one, they notice on some level that they're not really on the battlefield or in the arena of life, right? Like, you can be in the stands, or you can be in the arena, you know, exposed, vulnerable to defeat.
I feel
What's that quote by Teddy Roosevelt, you know? But it's, I think what you're also saying is, in a business sense, especially if you're self-employed, right? You're an entrepreneur, but you're not going deeply in debt. You haven't hired people, so you owe them a paycheck every Friday or whatever, and their families depend on that and all that. Like, there's a lot of us entrepreneurs who, you know, especially maybe if it's a lifestyle business where you can keep it small enough where, like, everything's not at stake.
Yes.
You're not trying to become the next Apple or IBM or whatever, and but still, like, we long to be on the battlefield in a way, in the arena, on the field, in the championship game, you know, and the ball gets passed to us, and, like, we want to be there.
Yeah, it's not like McGregor didn't. Not every fight he did was against Mayweather. You know, I had many fights before that to maybe get to that.
Right.
So it's because I feel like, just speaking about me, you know, I don't feel like we're in the big game yet. Yeah. I don't feel we're in Vegas.
We're not.
We're in Florianopolis behind our screen, you know, talking to people online, you know. I think it's different if you go live.
But you're in a much bigger game than you were 2 months ago.
Yes, but still, I feel I'm playing safe.
Yeah.
Know? I would love imagine that we have live events. That would be something different.
Yes.
I remember that, you know.
Yes.
So I don't know if I'm hijacking the conversation.
I can't wait for that, by the way.
Or challenging you.
Wait for
challenging. That. I don't know if you're going to be ready to step in that ring. You got to be fit.
Yes. Yes. Come on, keep it coming. You broke, fat, lazy son of a bitch. I actually respond well to that, but yeah, like, I mean, one of our challenges the month of April, and, like, right now, is to decide what's the game that you and I are playing on a business level, and then we choose it and we're all in.
We're already made.
Right. Yes. The business the game we chose to play a month ago was, you know, you hired me for your business to put you're in the arena. That was the deal. Right. And I'm like, I'm holding that space for you. Like a coach, and I'm challenging you, whatever. Like, you're in the arena, you know, you're in there sweating. And I'm not yet in there with you. So, but I'm really inspired by, like seeing how you've been showing up, it's because I want to do it with brothers, I don't want to, it's not that much fun all by yourself.
No.
I want to do it with brothers. And I think there's a huge longing for a lot of guys who are entrepreneurs, who are self-employed, who are whatever.
Yes.
And the thing is, you're your own boss.
Yes.
If you want to take the day off, you can. If you want to play at half your level, you can. You want to take a break, to call a timeout in the middle of the game and drink beer for 3 hours.
Yes.
You can.
You need allies too, that will put you in that situation of tension, that will challenge you to that war. Because alone you will.
Yeah. And the thing about like when John and I were in this business, if he and I have a conflict and we go head to head and we're butting heads, if it all goes south, we both lose everything, So there's something bigger than either one of us being right. There's something bigger than, our comfort level or even being respected or whatever. There's this bigger game that we're playing, and so you have to challenge yourself. How can I, if this whole thing's going to shit, how can I turn it around, even if the other guy is saying he doesn't want to, or he's acting like he doesn't want to, or he wants to destroy it or whatever? Like, how can I be the one to turn it around? And like, I love that kind of challenge, and developing the skills, the tools, the technology, the experience, the wisdom, whatever, to be able to thrive in those situations. And I think that, as far as human technology, there's the technology of our phones and spaceships and everything else, which is super advanced. But our technology to be able to relate to each other and to lead ourselves and each other, and is very, very primitive comparatively. And but that's the arena of technology that I'm most excited about. And I've experienced like real transformation and growth by leaps and bounds in that arena. So.
But also how it feels to, for example, because I see how you resonate with going first, going first, saving a brother, standing for your people, of how it makes you feel, how it makes you thrive, to be, that I can do.
Yes.
So, that's real. I was thinking about this last night. That's real technology that could help you. Anyone make great transformations. In the way you relate with the others, in the way you see yourself, and it's real. What I mean is, it's real technology. It's not just. It's when you implement it, it can really completely transform you, and it's incredibly powerful.
Yeah, because every day, here's the thing: when you're in control of your personal growth, like that's the problem. When you think you know what your next step is, in a way that's a problem. If what you want is transformation, is like growing by leaps and bounds.
Right. You can't trust yourself. It's like in School for Scoundrels. The first thing he comes in, and he's a dating coach in a way, and he says to the guys, "Who here has a self-help book?" And they all go, "Yeah." He says, "That's your first problem, okay? You can't be helped by yourself. Look at you." He says, "Listen to me," and we would say, "Listen to your system. Listen to the technologies you could put in place, instead of relying on your own."
But that's also the power of having an ally.
Yes.
Who is committed to you being the most powerful self you can be, and your ultimate purpose and whatever, and your transformation, instead of being loyal to the you that's reactive and that says, "Don't bother me," or "I don't want your help," or whatever. If John and I are in this business together, at some point, if he's pushing me away and it's hurting the business, it doesn't matter if I'm uncomfortable. It doesn't matter if he's uncomfortable. We have to win. And he's going to want to win. I know it. And I'm not going to believe him pushing me away. I'm not going to believe what he says when he's pushing me away. And we're going to fucking win, And that's the same way I want him to be with me. And, I had so many experiences with him where also, like, he just out of the blue, he would inspire the fuck out of me. Like, the guy's got neuropathy from the knees down. Can't feel his legs and his feet. And he's climbing mountains. you know, and yeah, he accomplished some tremendous things. We had some incredible victories together, and he had some incredible personal victories, and but yet he would wake up in the morning and forget himself in the sense of who he's been being and what he's capable of. He would forget himself in the way to where he's judging himself as less than he is and less than he can be. And so this, you know, the honor work that I do, it's all about remembering in a way that brings honor, which is the power, which is
also reminding. You know, as an ally, you remind the other who they are.
Yes.
Who you are for them.
In a way that restores honor in them.
Yes.
Which is the heartfelt trust in oneself to go forward. But anyway, this is the game. Like you and I are designing a game that we're gonna play, you know, and then go all in. And I'm also designing a game, you know, that you're gonna play with me. That's gonna be on a for men who are entrepreneurs, and they want to be on the battlefield playing a much more intense game with making money and having their business go to the next level. And it's not going to be about us. It's not going to be about anyone teaching anyone about like what they should do or what the next step is business-wise. It's simply going to be creating that context to where we're in the arena and you're responsible not just for your own victory, but for your brother's victory. And it's leave no man behind. And it's
10 against 10 in the octagon. It's gonna get crowded.
Well, no, we're all on the same team.
You gotta fight your way through, you know, to get some space. So people gotta die.
Well, yeah, I guess depending on how you make the metaphor, but it won't be opposing sides in this, like trying to defeat each other. It'll be everyone standing for each other's victory.
It's not gonna be like Battle Royale by Takeshi Kitano, where
no.
They got school kids on an island, and the game is they each get to choose a weapon, and only one survives. And then they're sent off on the island. School kids, you know.
What is that?
It's a movie.
Oh, okay.
It's a great one. They start killing each other with crossbows, and one survives, you know.
Yeah, you know, little boys grow up, you know, shooting toy guns and stuff, which is practically illegal nowadays. You know, a kid brings a water gun to school and he gets taken to the principal's office, or even has makes a fingers like a gun, or a piece of paper, draws a gun. Like these little boys are getting in trouble for this nowadays. And but that instinct to fight, to go to war, to protect your people, to whatever is beautiful, and it's powerful, and it's the role of the warrior, the honored role of the warrior, and that anything that even looks like the warrior nowadays is being shamed. You know, that's you're too much, or you're making someone uncomfortable, or you offended someone, or you know, and everything's being taken down to the level of like a mixed audience where imagine you have your warrior class, and then these band of warriors are coming into a space with really young boys and girls, and with women, and with the elderly. And this warrior class is supposed to tone down all of their behavior and expression so that everyone else is perfectly comfortable all of the time. And this is what these men are being trained is good and appropriate, and anything else is shameful and bad. And it's disgusting.
That's interesting, because when the samurai, who were the warrior class in Japan around the 1600s, for 200 years there was peace in Japan, and this warrior class had to be, or try to fit into society, you know. And that's interesting, because they're warriors, you know, and I think it was in a way more maybe elegant way that kept the spirit of the warrior in it, you know, because there's no shame around that, you know, even on the contrary. You know?
And the honor work that I do and that we do is it includes facing everything. So it includes the darkness, it includes the fear, it includes the anger, it includes the shame, like all of this, whereas a lot of spiritual stuff people are into these days and self-development, you know, you want to exclude all of that from your reality. Like, don't face that, don't be with that, don't feel that. That's somehow less than powerful, beautiful, spiritual, positive. And it robs men and people, but I'm talking about men right now, of their power, and of the full honor and the vision that they could have and that they could lead with if they are facing everything. Mm-hmm. And so it's a really powerful orientation, and it's
in my work in seduction, I completely point at the same thing when I say there's greater brutality at the core of seduction than political correctness allows us to explore. We're not even allowed to explore it, you know. And so it's the surest way to be enslaved by it, you know.
Yeah.
If you want to be sure to be enslaved by anger, you got to not look at it and judge it, you know.
Well, it's the shortest way to make the reality that you fear coming about to come about. If you make all the men, for example, be docile, you know, and you castrate them all, then when the invading hordes come, or the crises of the physical worlds come, who's going to be there? You know, who's going to show up and defend? Who's going to slay the enemy? You know, it's you know, and hard times may be coming. Mm-hmm. You know, and many guys out there might not feel like they have what it takes to provide for their people and protect their people in the coming times. And it's true, they might not, based on their upbringing, based on how they were brought into life. If they were brought in with, for example, a single mother who at any moment that he went towards something that was scary for her, that she, no, be safe, be good, be whatever. And the poor kid is not ready. He's not ready to face brothers. He's not ready to face battle. He's not ready to face danger. He's not ready to face his own fears. He's not ready to go into the unknown. I don't want to put it all on single mothers, but in many ways, the public school system has become the same thing. It's become a place where the warrior spirit gets shamed and trained out of the boy. And he you know, and many boys are basically entrained to judge their fathers, their grandfathers, men who, maybe they smell too much, maybe they're too loud, maybe they're too aggressive, maybe they're too obnoxious, whatever, but they stand for something. They're willing to go into the unknown. They're willing to go into the mess, you know, and they're willing to get hurt, bloodied. They're willing to do what others are not willing to do, and many young men are left without the influence of those men in their life, and it's a way of poverty, you know. It's an impoverishment that's sad.
But an opportunity for man today, that even without that, you know, how much greater is the glory if you could fight back from that.
Yes.
You pick your war.
Yeah, and the fight is often to become that man that you didn't have in your life. And the fight is to reclaim the brothers that you never had. And then these are the battles of the Ronin, you know. Most of us in the modern culture today, I would say, are Ronin. We have by nature this inclination to the warrior spirit, but like the samurai who, for whatever reason, were then left without a master, either because they chose not to fight in battle, or they chose not to kill themselves after their master died, or they just walked free as free men. They're walking around without brotherhood, without honor. They're walking around in shame, and they're free, you know. They're free, but they don't have the things that would make them the most powerful. brotherhood, a way of honor. You know, the respect of
battle
people
to fight.
for the warrior class. A battle to fight, and yeah, and people to fight for. You know, it's a big thing that men need is you need your people to fight for. So to just be free, an individual out there wandering around with his dreams and goals that are individualistic, and there's no people he's going to battle for, he's risking everything for. There's a real poverty in that, you know. There's a real sadness in that, and yeah, there's a real lack of what's possible in terms of meaning and power and beauty and love and everything. If you're just this individual guy out there with his individual goals and dreams.
I hear an analysis in a way, but I sense that what you really would like to do is put out a call.
Yes. I want to go to battle. I want men who are ready to step onto the battlefield. And I see my brother, Dave, you watching, buddy? You know, Dave, I'll tell you a story about Dave, because we went to battle, you know, and there's Clint. But when I had my 3 younger brothers back in 97, and, you know, I almost left town to go find young guys who, they didn't want to go to school, they wanted to be entrepreneurs, they didn't want to have jobs, they wanted to be entrepreneurs. And then I realized I was leaving my brothers behind. I came back for them, I sold them on this vision of going to war, being entrepreneurs, where everything is your responsibility. It's 100% up to you. There's no boss, there's no whatever, there's no like the man. You are the man, you know? And we went to war as allies. We each had our own business and challenged the fuck out of each other. And I remember like the first 30 days, 60 days, where I would see my brothers who had been before this just like minimum wage employees, smoking weed, playing Nintendo, no real personal responsibility. Time after time, fucking out there on the battlefield. Remember this one day, I get emotional thinking about it, but I'm up in one of these neighborhoods with these really steep hills. Like Austin's built with the assumption that it's never going to snow, you know, because if it ever snowed once, there's no way you can get up the steepness of these hills. And there's a neighborhood up there, and
I go there with my bike, easy.
I remember driving up one of these these really steep hills, and then my van is barely making it, you know, and off in the distance, I can see this guy going door to door, you know, climbing this hill, and the houses are pretty far apart because it's a wealthy neighborhood. Just to stick one more, and then and the guy's fucking, you know, the mountain, and I'm like, because I know what that's like, you know, and I got like so much respect for that guy. I get closer, I'm like, oh, fuck, that's my brother, you know, and I still feel that way, but it was that experience of we went to war with each other, you know, and I want that again. So, just the way, you know, when you hired me and made the commitment around your business, and we structured it in such a way that there's no way out, you know. Yeah, you might fail, but it's all you, you know. And then like you're feeling the fear and you're in it and it's whatever. Like that's what I love, and for sure I'm gonna be there. But maybe you don't know, but I'll be there, you know. Like that's what I love. That's what I want to do. So I'm creating, and I'll announce it shortly. I don't have the details, the dates, but I'm going to announce it, and it's going to be a call to entrepreneurs who want to be in the arena, on the battlefield of life, with brothers, standing for each other, taking on an impossible goal, something that's impossible based on who they've been being in their life thus far. They will need either to completely transform, and they'll need their fucking brothers to show up as heroes to help them achieve the victory. You know, they won't be just setting a goal that's comfortable and possible for themselves. It'll be an impossible goal. And at the end of the time, when when the time expires, they'll either be victorious or they'll be fucking laying bloody on the battlefield, completely wiped out. But either way, they'll fucking know they gave it their all, and they'll have brothers that they never had before. You know, that experience in 97, it lasted maybe 4, 5, 6 months. But the way it bonded my brothers and I is forever.
I hear an announcement of an announcement that you're going to make.
Yes.
I think it's a bit weak. I think you either announce it or at least you put a date that you're going to announce it.
Yes.
That's my challenge.
Thank you. All right. Within the next 72 hours, I will announce it, and the start date will be sometime between May 20th and June 15th.
Okay. So you announce it in the next 72 hours.
Yes.
And the start date will be between May 20th and June 13th.
15th.
15th.
Yes. Yes.
We got
and I'm calling,
many witnesses here.
I'm calling for warrior brothers to join me. And I'm going to bring everything I got, you know. I want guys taking on impossible fucking goals. You know, like when they score that victory, what they'll feel about themselves on a level of honor and pride will be incredible. And you know, even if they fail, the fact that they went for it and they gave everything, they'll still have an incredible amount of pride and honor, and probably a lot more results than they would have got had they not stepped up to take on an impossible victory. So yes,
looking forward to that. Stay tuned in the next 72 hours.
Yes. Thank you, Hans.